Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, I want to share with you the process that I take to be able to prepare a police badge and get it ready for carving on the Shapeoko. And I'll be using Carbide Create and Carbide Motion to do that. But before even getting it to the machine, I have to do some work to be able to get it ready. And so I want to take you guys along on that process to prepare the SVG files, to create the union, essentially do everything real quick on online. And so it is my very first live stream. So thank you guys for joining. I had a couple different plans to do for my live stream. Actually have a different live stream already prepared and ready to go. But I figured I got to do this. It's for a customer who's ready to go. Has already paid a deposit for this flag, and so I have to prepare it anyway. So I figured why not share it on live? And it is kind of late. It's already 10 p.m. here in California. But if you're a side hustler, this is nothing new to you, right? You have to start and complete jobs at night when everyone else is sleeping, or everyone in the household is already kind of winding down. You're still going. So let's go ahead and jump into this right now. Let me share my screen and show you what I got going on. All right, so that's a flag here. Let me show you the program. Carbide Create. So here we're in Carbide Create, and this is the flag, or this is the SVG file that I need to convert or prepare, essentially, right? When you get the SVG file, a lot of the times I've noticed is that there's a lot of detail for the Shapeoko to carve out. It's not like a laser. You're not going to be able to get all the details like a laser would probably do. But it does require a lot of work to get it ready, and it takes some practice. It takes some time, and it takes a lot of practice to get it ready. And a few times you're gonna make some mistakes, but it's okay. That's all part of the learning process. So let me show you what actually already done. One similar to this. Here's a police badge, and what I did is I had to come in here and I had to edit a lot of these little vectors. A lot of these vectors are really small, and you can see that there's a lot of detail missing, and that's okay because at the final product, the customer's really not going to notice that specific detail. They're not going to go into the union really and like, hey, that's missing. This guy with the axe, he's missing something there. You can tell that there's a guy there with an axe, right? Or they're not going to look at this, whatever this is that was on the badge. They're not going to look at that and scrutinize every little minor detail. As you can see here, the bear, for example, has been cleaned up quite a bit. There's nothing there. And so that's what I did for this one. So I'm going to use this one as a guide and do the exact same thing on this other one here that was created. Let's zoom in. Hey, Tristan, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here on the very first live stream. Still trying to get used to all the new programs and things like that, but I'm glad you guys are joining. So I'm just going to go jump right into it. All right, so let's start with that bear because we did say that the bear had a lot of detail missing in the other one, which is fine. So in this case, I'm going to get rid of all this. And one thing to note that these little squares, my little grid is set up to half an inch. So if you can imagine that this is only half an inch, you can imagine how small this is, right? It's not going, if the 60-degree V-bit or the 30-degree V-bit is going to come in here and try to carve this out, it's going to tear these two vectors apart. So that's from my experience. That's what I've experienced myself. If you have any other pointers or tips, let me know. But I've had these things tear out, and I want to reduce as much as that. So I'm just going to click on these vectors and just start deleting them. Just like that. Even the eye. You know what? Do I want the eye? Yeah, it's small. It's very close to this outline, these lines here. So yeah, I think I'll be fine with just getting rid of it. Again, down here, I'm not too sure what this is. It's probably part of the badge actually, or this shield here, but it's fine. Your customer's not going to notice that. This stuff over here, don't need that. And I'm thinking because there is quite a bit of cleanup to do, I might not completely do it all, and then we'll move on to creating the bad or the union with what I do get completed here today. Be careful with these small vectors like this. All this stuff, guys, I know again, in my experience, this is so small. This is all going to get chewed up in pine, right? We make, at least for me, I make my unions in pine. My flags are pine, and it's just going to get chewed up, tore up. It's not going to come out nice. What are you guys working on this evening? Are there any side hustlers out there still working? Mm, it's just judgment calls, really. A lot of these times, a lot of times, it's just judgment call. Should I keep that? Should I not? I'm leaning towards getting rid of it. I don't know what it is. It's not adding value to the image. I don't think so. We'll get rid of it. These eyes here, they're gonna get tore up. Maybe I'll keep two of them. Maybe let's just do that. Like move it here. Kind of create some space. I see this. This might need some work here because these are kind of overlapping. I don't know what that's going to cause. If that's going to cause some issues. All this needs to go. I'm almost tempted to get rid of this stuff here, and I think I'll do that in the next program because I like to use two different programs. I like to use Silhouette Cameo as well. I did a lot of vinyl work prior to getting my CNC, and so with vinyl, I went with the Silhouette Cameo, and so I've been using their Silhouette Studio program. And nice, just eating a Pop Tart, nice. And so I use the Silhouette Studio, and because I did a lot of vinyl work before jumping into the CNC, so I've kind of gotten accustomed to that. And so I like to do even more cleanup because Carbide Create is great for a beginner. It's a great program to learn some of the lingo, get your feet wet, but it leaves a lot to be desired as far as these editing of an SVG file. It's easy to kind of clean up this a little bit, but I will probably do some more work on that Silhouette Studio end. So these things too small, and you could tell on the previous. Let's go back to the template here. On these ships, had something similar. Little vectors. I remember the little vectors within this area here down here. I just got rid of them. Zoom in back in here. It's not even the full size or the correct size, and you could tell like that's just a small little boat that's just going to get tore up with the V bit. I'll use a V bit to carve this out. We want to create space between these vectors. Hey, thank you for the heads up. I'm already kind of going, so next time I'll prepare a little bit better. Thank you for the heads up that the link is corrupted. Again, it was just a quick thing. I got to do it for a customer. Figured I'd take you guys along with me, but yeah, for the next time, I'll get that. Make sure it's correctly linked. But thank you for the heads up. Yeah, here a lot of people use easel. I haven't tried it. Again, my background comes from vinyl, and so I went with the Silhouette Studio. Actually, that might. So if I remove this, for example, let's think about this for a second. Here's my tool path here. I want this all V carved. If I carve this like that, it's going. If and if I remove this, it's just going to leave a gouge there. It's going to be small, but it's and if I leave this triangle there, it's still going to get gouged. There's I feel like there's just no way that this is going to carve correctly. So let's just get rid of it. Again, these are so small. I don't think the customer will be able to see that, in my opinion. I'm just there's no rhyme or reason on the direction that I'm going. I'm just kind of going with it. Here's overlapping vectors there. Might have to clean that up. This stuff here, gonna get rid of it. What do you guys think? Would you guys do the same thing? Like, have you guys done that? Hey, Clinton. I appreciate it, man. I'm working. I'm about to make the jump. I promise you. I definitely want to check it out. But I just feel that some of these. Oop, Control Z, Command Z if you're using Mac to undo that. Delete. I feel like there's still some you know videos that can be made for us beginners. A lot of these things I had to learn as I went, and a lot of frustration because I had to lose a lot of material trying to figure this out, and that's all part of it. I can't help everybody. Everybody has to kind of do it themselves as well. So, but there's still, I think, an opportunity there. So it seems like these are all connected, and so this is, for example, something that I would probably fix in Stilo Studio, erasing these vectors here, getting rid of this, and this, and then closing this off. Again, I'm sure I think you can do it on Carbide Create, but I've never done it, and so I probably take forever to do that. And when you're used to a program, it's just you get so much faster when you're used to it. All right, let's see here. Like this vector here, that's just gonna get tore up. There's a little house here, this little house thing. Let's get rid of this. You can still tell that that's a building there. I'm just gonna delete a few more of these, and then we'll move on to the Silhouette Studio. I don't want to bore you guys with just deleting stuff. One of the things I like to do is work at night because, again, I mentioned I am a woodworking side hustler, and I think that's kind of what I want to tailor this channel to the side hustler. I got a couple tips that I think I use quite a bit, and that's going to be my next live stream. That was actually the live stream that I wanted to do first, but again, this opportunity presented itself and just went with it. Again, this is so small, guys. This is something I'm going to get rid of. I only need maybe one of these. Which one do I want? I kind of like the triangle better. What I could do is just bring this one up like that. And let's resize it here. And Clinton saying getting rid of the vectors is a good idea. What look good as a simulation doesn't always what looks good as a simulation doesn't always carve, especially when you're doing an emblem on a flag. Yeah, absolutely. Again, learn that the hard way. Um, I remember before I knew that I had to go max or stock max depth, stock of material. I it was just my flags were terrible, and so I had to keep asking questions. And thankfully, the forums are a really great source of help. I couldn't have learned so much on my own without the forums for sure. But yeah, I figured it's converted. It's an SVG that's converted. The machine knows you just set the tool path and let's go. But no, it takes a little bit more work to get it just right. And then once you get it, save it. Because you never know when you may be able to just, you know, take a part of it and use it in a different SVG. So let me just go through these floors one more time, and then we'll move over to the um, Silhouette Studio. And let me know what do you guys would you guys leave some of these in? And how do you guys reduce chip out if you guys are using Pine? I've been using Pine since forever. That's all I use is Pine. And one thing that I do to reduce chip out, and I don't know if it helps or not, is just sealing my wood. I seal the union prior to carving with a coat of polyurethane, one or two coats. Again, depending on how much time I have. If it's going to be an overnight thing, I maybe just spray it once before dinner, and then right before bed, maybe spray it again. Look at this. This is going to get tore up right here. It's going to, if I were to leave this little vector in, it would uh, tear it out, and it'd be like as if it were never there. So let's just get rid of it. Let's get rid of this one. Should create some space. Let's just try that. All right, so let's just go ahead and stop there. Oh, let's just get rid of these guys, and let's move on to Silhouette Studio. I'm gonna get rid of this guy because I don't need it. I'm gonna save this. Export SVG. Let's go police badge or go. Now I'm gonna bring in Studio here, and we'll jump into that. Let me know if this is a process that you guys do as well, something similar. Oh, so I thought the I thought the California one was bad, but Clinton's saying here that the seal of North Carolina is even maybe is impossible. California has been possible, so it probably is a little bit harder to do. So here I'm already in Silhouette Studio. I already brought in a Star SVG to work on this, and what I want to do is bring in the badge that we just did. So let's go to, I think I had it in downloads. Let's go here. Perfect. And for whatever reason, Silhouette Studio always brings it in a separate tab. So let's just copy it over. Command C if you're using Mac, Control C if you're using Windows, and just paste it here. And what I want to do is oh man, it's been a while. So let's just resize this. Like that. What I want to do, it's okay if it's like kind of just hanging out back here. What I want to do is I want to select these two, kind of minimize it like that. I'm sorry, nope, take that back. I want to minimize this badge to fit within the stars, something like that. And then what I do is I select both of them. So just create a square here like that. It selects everything. And then over here on the right hand side is this transform panel. And I can now align everything. So there's align horizontal and then align it vertically. Now the badge is centered to the union, or centered to the stars, I should say. I'm just wondering if I should make it a little bit bigger. No, I think that's fine, just for this example. So I have my badge SVG back there, and then I have my stars SVG. These are not grouped. What I do next is I ungroup. So right click, ungroup the stars, because I want to get to the individual stars. Right now they were all grouped, so I want to ungroup again. This particular file has the star set up in 4 different groups, I think, or 5. So I need to get all these selected, and then I'm going to ungroup it again. Now I have individual stars. All right, so in this case, I got to look at this union, right? And we see that there's overlap here within the badge. So let's just get rid of these guys. That happens sometimes. What's good about editing videos is I could speed this up and you guys don't have to go through the, but I guess that's why you're hanging out here. You want to see it done. For some reason it doesn't want to get that one. Did you guys have a good 4th of July? Did you guys, what were your 4th of July big sellers? I had a couple of flags sold, but not necessarily, not specifically because of 4th of July. I just had them available, and a couple of people wanted to buy some flags, one for a barber shop and then another one for a anniversary gift. So yeah, so nothing specifically for 4th of July, but do you guys have any good sales for 4th of July? Let me know. Okay, so now I'm just looking over the flag, the union, seeing how I like it, and I think it's good like that. I think I'm gonna get rid of this one too. Mm, Again, this is all judgment call, guys. When it comes down to this, let me zoom in and let's play around with this. So now that I've gotten rid of all the stars from within the badge, I need to start editing some of these stars. These are too close. This is pretty much touching the badge, so I need to get rid of pieces of the star now. So I like to use this knife tool and zoom in real close, and let's get rid of these 2 points. So I just click and hold. That was terrible. What happened there? Yeah, not sure why it's doing that. I wonder if there's a delay. Biggest sellers are K through 12 school picture hanging signs, and I was running a Fourth of July sale that ended 30 minutes, or that ended in 30 minutes. It's been pretty successful. Ooh, picture hanging signs. I think I've considered, school stuff when like school starts, backpack hangers, things like that. Yeah, I'll have to check those out. All right, for some reason, let's go with solid. It's still that knife. This knife wants to go right there for some reason. That's so weird. Let's try a different star. know what it is. Okay. I think I changed my, I don't want to snap to grid. Yeah, that was it. I had changed that previously for something else. Okay, so now we're back in business. All right, so let's go back up to this guy here. I like to zoom in. Don't snap to the grid. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, because okay, I undid. I did undo Control Z. All right, now we got it. Sorry about that, guys. So I had to undo that because had to already cut out pieces of that star. All right, there we go. Now I'm able to cut out this piece of the star, go back to my select tool, and delete it. And so I'll just follow that same process all the way around. For example, this star here. Let's just cut it here. Just like that. I'm just going to start going through these a little bit faster. And then I'll delete the parts that I need to get rid of. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. A good idea to share it with the group. I think it'd be pretty cool to check those out. I think I know what you're talking about, but obviously I don't want to assume anything. Okay, so like that, I got to zoom in on it a little bit closer. Just like that. This is really close together, so I'll get rid of it because from experience, I know that it'll merge, it'll cut into it. Okay, so that is it. Let me go back to my pointer tool, start deleting these. Just like that. All right, and so I might go over this again. It just looks like there's this empty space there, or maybe to even it out, I'll get rid of this one there, just like that, just to create balance. And I'm just kind of looking over this badge, and that's essentially the process that I would go through. Let's go into some of these details that I said that were overlapping, if I can remember where they're at. Like this stuff here, this is just too much detail, I think. So what we can do is, again, what's cool about this program is that you can grab this eraser and just erase this. And I think because I'm live streaming, I'm using a couple different programs. It's taken a little bit of time. Oh, I don't want solid. It's weird. But that's what I would do. I would just erase this and then kind of clean this up. Let's see. That's strange. I don't know why it did that. It's supposed to just erase. So let's go back to this eraser. Um, solid. Yeah, it's supposed to be right. Just like that. Oh, there we go. I don't know why the circle didn't do that. So what I like to do is just kind of create a erase mark. Oh, weird. I'm going to have to figure that out, guys. I don't know why that's doing that. But that's pretty much the process, just erasing of the vectors there. I'm wondering if there's something going on here that I have to think about. I'll probably do that offline. But once I get it like I want it, what I do next is what's cool about the Silhouette Studio version. You have to pay for the Silhouette Studio version to be able to export files or your designs as SVG files. So what I am doing now is I'm going to save as, and I'm going to save it to my hard drive. Just pick a place that you want to save it at, and then here in this format, you want to click on that arrow or click on this area and then export it as SVG, and let's call it police badge with stars. Oh wow. See, nice. So how do you go about that? Is you just kind of get those contracts from word of mouth, kind of people, you kind of just befriend people and get in like that. All right, let's jump back over to Carbide Create. So here's our original. So hold on one second, guys. Get rid of that one. We can get rid of this original one. We're going to import now the police with the stars. When you import, make sure to group everything because as soon as you unclick anything, it'll deselect everything and everything. Its own individual vector. All right, so there we have it. That's the star within the union. I think I might go back in there and kind of clean up this area. It's looking a little bit bare here, but I just want to show you the process. And then obviously you would then resize this to fit within the union. I like to get my star. So again, my grid is set at 1/2 inch. I like my star to be up on this first 1/2 inch line or close to it, and then I'll resize from there. And then recenter it. What's going on, Raymond? I think that's close enough. All right, so then let's talk about toolpaths real quick. My toolpaths. All right, Clinton. Well, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it, hanging out here. Have a good night. All right, so um, talking about toolpaths real quick. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and when I first started, I just threw it on. I first threw it on the CNC, just created the toolpath, and just let it run. And that's not the best. That's not the best way, I think. And what I've had more success is breaking this up into different toolpaths, beginning with the most complicated one. And so the most complicated stuff is going to be happening in here. So I would come in here, deselect everything, and however you do it, just come in here and start selecting these vectors just like this. if you have to, individually, one by one, go in there and start selecting vectors. So then I won't do it right now because it'll take time, but go in there and select the most complicated. And in this case, it's within the seal. Let me deselect all this stuff. Take this one too. Oh, whoa. Sorry about that, guys. All right. I won't get all that stuff because it's just not. I'm just going to give you an example. Okay, so now that I have the seal, all that's within the seal, I'll group that, and that's one toolpath. The next I would do is the text, for example. So since this is all grouped within there, I'll just hold Shift, click on the seal vectors anywhere, and it'll deselect everything. Should have. Oh well, these were not part of the. I didn't select everything, so that's why these are selected. So then I would just get rid of this stuff, get my text here in the middle. And then I would make that another toolpath. Let's do it again. Same thing, just kind of work my way out. Select everything, hold shift and deselect what's already grouped. In this case, let's do the florals next and the actual star points of the badge. And you kind of get my process here. So this would be all selected. Also, this up here, we could do all that. However you feel most comfortable on doing it, but I would recommend not doing it all at once. So again, for example, that, and then the last thing I like to do is the stars. So go like this, and then deselect everything. So you kind of get the idea. Let's see. Oh, it looks like it selected everything there. I zoom in. This carve would take anywhere from like 35 to 60 minutes if I'm really pushing it. It doesn't. I think it doesn't take too much longer than that. No more than an hour for sure. Just because. But let's. I mean, we could try to find out. Just a quick example. Oh darn! I didn't group it. This is going to be V carve. Let's just keep it at that because I don't want to push it too hard. Depending on the size, so that's going to be 49 minutes. So I might actually speed that up because that feel like that may be taking too long. I feel like an hour is about right though. So what's going on here? Just one thing that I do like to do is I do like to look at these blue lines, the carving path. Like you could tell that since this is a V carve and this is a bigger open area, it's just going to plunge in this area, which won't look too bad again because it's so small. So for this one, just based on that, I think I'm thinking maybe an hour to an hour and a half, maybe just to get this done. This is where I spend the longest time. Is for sure this area here. These these are going to go pretty fast. It's just this part here. I like to take my time. because if this is all messed up right off the get go, I know that I have to redo it. So, all right, guys. So that's essentially the process that I take to take an SVG file of a badge, edit it a little bit, then take it to Silhouette Studio, create the actual union and modify the stars there, and then bring it back to Carbide Create and do some more editing, potentially create my toolpaths. And so I'll go back and forth between those two programs until I get until I get the design just right. If you were here from the beginning, you saw that there were some overlapping vectors there. I'm going to take a look at those to see how and if I even need to clean those up at all. But that's just using Silhouette Studio to delete some of the lines, the points in the line. And so uh, that's kind of outside of the scope of this tutorial or kind of this part of it. But just wanted to show you how you can use Carbide Create to um, edit your vectors and then use a different program. Someone in the comments said Easel. Easel is another good program to use. But again, I've used Vinyl in the past, and I like the Silhouette Studio to do that. So that's just one of the many, many programs that you can use. All right, guys. So I hope you guys found it enjoyable. Thank you guys for Tristan and everyone else that was on the live chat. Actually, before we go, any questions? What's everyone doing? Anyone working tonight? Let's see some of these other comments. No, I think everyone's just kind of hanging out and watching the live stream. So I appreciate it, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and end it there before we get um, we start just talking away through the night. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on the live stream where I talk about the next live stream will be the 3 tips that I share or that I use every single time to run a successful side hustle business. 3 time saving, 3 ways to optimize your time, being more productive. So stay tuned for that live stream, and we'll talk then. Thanks, guys. Bye.